everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you how I made my Moog City / Moog City 2 remix. So without further ado, let's get straight into this. What I'm going to show you first is this. So those little like tinkly bells, this delay here. So this is just collision with the volume turned up and this being put to here. And then you get this. And then this is looking for the highs in collision. If I play it just that. And then this time and this on fade. And then if you muck about with the time and automate it, you get some cool like bell stuff. I think it's sick. And we've also got this, which is off of Virtual Riot's, one of Virtual Riot's videos. He was showing how to, or no, he wasn't showing, he was showing a Serum preset pack he made, and this was in his free downloads, and I just took it, and I was like, great, sounds like this. Sounds like the song, so. This original MIDI I got off my circuit tracks because I made a little ARP and I pitched it up and I was like, oh shit, wait a minute, that's Moog City. That's Moog City. It's like, whoops. So I ended up making this whole remix for like no apparent reason. So yeah, I won't break this down. He probably shows how it works on his thing. And then there's this. Well, actually, there's this here. This is Contact 7, the new Jacob Collier plugin. This is his DJ tour audience group thing. He's got an EQ8 shifter. Well, no, not he's got. I've got. I've got an EQ8 shifter, reverb, tape stop, reverb, EQ. Then this is used later on, but this tape stop here is doing most of that cutting in and out effect. And then down here we got the drums, which I'll explain in a second. We've got some things I recorded at college. We've also got the bass. This is my standard Reese preset that I use. And then we've got the EQ doing this, cutting out everything. We've got, now, here's the drums. So normal splice kick. A very nice kick, actually. Then this is the snare. It's Serum with the wind chimes on, which is in organics in the noise oscillator. And it's being pitched down and then volume automated by this LFO. And then there's we're taking out some highs. And then we're compressing and EQing again. And then we've got a little bit of reverb on it, and then you get that. And then these hi-hats are essentially the same thing, but I'm just going, it's just a very short envelope on bright white, and then we're doing a bit of EQ, then more EQ, and then it's just, yeah. So that's how I made most of that section. There's something that's not playing in there, right? That's too loud. I may have turned something on by accident. You're supposed to be turned down, I think. some of the project is a little bit mucked about with, or a little bit broken, so don't mind if something sounds a little wrong. On top of all that, we've also got this, which is a little serum analog kind of sine wave thing I made. It's just a sine wave paper bag, all passes, which is all connected to this envelope. This cutoff's connected, levels connected in the paper bag. Paper bag is going directly out. It's being pitched down as well. Compression, delay, distortion, and then just expanding it with the hyper. So that's pretty cool. So this next section, which is this bit, how I made this is I got this original part of the piano here, and I thought that is like the most the cleanest piano I've ever heard. It's like the most beautiful piano ever. So I got that piano, and I was checking something. Yes, okay. And I just chucked over here. So here we have this EQ, and then this reverb rack that I've made comes on just here, and we're parallel processing. So we've got the clean piano, and then we also have the reverb. This reverb plugin that I'm using is RAM. What this does, well, it's just a reverb plugin. It's probably one of my favorite reverb plugins to use just now because it's such like a big sound. Wouldn't use it necessarily for vocals, especially if you're doing like what I'm doing just now, which is compressing the hell out of it afterwards. I'll get to that. But that's pretty much what that reverb is doing. You can copy that. You can copy that if you want. I don't mind. And then after all that, after EQ, RAM, limiter, we've got it's essentially compressing, multi-band compressing, but it's limiting. So we've got Panx, PANCZ, which is a spectral plugin. It's free now, recently, because they closed their doors recently. It's a great plugin though. What I did here is I turned the input gain up. We took this down to 5. The mix is all the way up. These are down. NYC, presence, and air don't need to be touched in this situation. And then what I'm doing is I've got my 3 bands set here. And then can I play this piano without it being in my ear? So what's happening here is these 3 bands. I've split up into three bands. These are set to limit and multi. So without multi, you don't get the 3 bands, but with you do. And then on the mid bands, to make it less muddy, we're just taking the transient and the tail and shoving them all the way down. And then they're both halfway on the other two bands, but on the mids band it's both all the way down. Giving you that, giving you this like more airy piano, with like no mud in it, but the mids are still there because if I solo them, I can play them. But you get a lot more of an airy piano now. And then most of that room is getting put back in from like the likes of this stuff. This. Not necessarily this. Well, maybe a little bit. The Reese. I don't remember putting that. Does that even fit? Oh, so it does. And then we got these drums, which we're EQing pretty oddly, taking a lot of those nice drum frequencies out. I keep on looking at this. I keep on coming back to this project. I'm looking at these drums. I'm thinking, did I do that on mistake and just leave that in? But then if I turn those bands off, if I turn these bands off, I'll let you hear it without me taking any of those frequencies out. And put them back in. There's not too much difference. And then there's a spacer, which is just got this grain delay and convolution module on. So I don't know how I haven't used this plugin enough. It's another spectral plugins plugin. There's a cool randomize feature up here I was testing the other day. It's cool. And then this EQ here doesn't turn on till over here, which I'll get to. These are splice samples. So these splice samples, I got them off a splice. I think I'm pitching them about. Yeah, we've got this one's pitched up, this one's pitched down, this one's pitched down even further. And I'm just pitching them to these chords here. So it gives the chords like a nice vintage feel almost. Well, not really, but like I like the acapella. Like I felt like when I listened to the piano, I could hear like little acapella one shots in there without them already being in there. I was like ghost notes almost. I think they sound beautiful. We've got these, just little white noise and glass. Just little extra stuff. And then that's pretty much it for that whole bit. Next we have, let me find something. Next we have this bit. So that's a pretty cool bit. I'm just listening to this here. I feel like I definitely turned this down. Oh, I've obviously been I broke this song down before. I think that was like that before. Hold up, let me check. Because I broke this song down before and then I never released that video because it wasn't good enough. That sounds about right. Okay, right, back to this. So we've got everything the same as before. This is new. I'll go over that in a second, but we've got everything here is the same. And different things are playing different melodies at this point. We've got the drums. I love that clap. So that clap, I think the kick might be the same, but it's just a splice sample anyway. And then that clap is it's similar, but it's a similar process to what I was doing. But what I'm doing is we're just cycling through these different organic noises, and then you get different claps. So if I went to this noise, different, that's that previous clap. So like if I went back to the wind chimes, different. And that's how I made the clap. I just cycled through these different noises and then just adjusted everything to how I liked it. Copy any of this if you want, that's fine. I don't mind. Then I've got an EQ after that, and then I rendered this clap out. Rendered it out, put dynamic tube EQ on it, and then got utility and another EQ. I got this noise. And then that layered with the original clap, you get like a nice impact into the clap. And then you got, that's pretty much it. This hi-hat is the same as before. The Reese is now being automated a little bit on the pitch bend, and the EQ is being automated. So if you watch that, pretty simple. The piano's not doing much. I love that melody. And then we got these little samples back in again. Those are just little things I recorded. And then that's pretty much it, except from this thing. Right. So how this went down, how this works. We've got a filter, which is, oh god, we've got, so where's our filter automation here? No, so this is turning the filter on and off, which is not really doing much, just turning it on and off when it needs to, when the sound's there. This is what the filter is doing here. Then there is a utility panning the main sound to the right. Then there's my reverb rack from before, and because we're panning before we're going into the reverb is still kind of center, and it's not all the way to the right with the original sound, so you get this kind of weird, you get put into this weird space of sound, and it's like it's got its own like pocket of sound, this one like section. You definitely hear it when this section hits. It's like, it's almost as if you've like entered a new like area or uncovered something new, and I quite like it. And then we've got this EQ. Now the main rack that people are going to want to see in this one little bit are, let me turn all this off. The main rack people are going to want to see is this. So that is a little rack I've made. I made it a while ago. I called it Nerds. This is the rack here. I'll highlight the rack. There we go. So that's all the rack. It's basically emulating Pegboard Nerds' like main synth, and then a lot of the harder work after it is like the auto filler that's giving it that sound. It's all about spaces. This project for me was all about like spaces and sound design and all that. But it was like mainly getting the room feel right for this song for me. Or this remix. So how I made this sound, the Pegboard Nerds thing, was we got PWM saw wave, which is of octave up, and it's this little vibrato thing is attached to here. No, that is attached to somewhere. I couldn't tell you, but it is pretty simple. Where are you mapped? It's mapped to this, and then this is mapped to that, I think. I'm not too sure. I haven't looked at this thing in a long while because now I've only got that as a collapsed thing. So, well, no, I have collapsed it and I don't need to look at it anymore because it's like a fine sound how it is. And then pretty much all the effects after it are just Ableton. So, because I was watching a Levi Niha video. Shout out Levi Niha. He's an amazing producer. He really knows how to like properly use Ableton to like it's like full. I don't know. he knows how to like properly get around Ableton. So after the serum, we've got delay. After the delay, we've got a chorus, which is like making the sound have these like moments of like, I don't know, just like destruction, like this. So turning the rate up is giving it a more detuned sound. Now we've got this reverb. Obviously, you'd hear these two, the reverb and the delay, more if I didn't have the filter on at the end. But yeah, it is what it is. We got a phaser flanger. This is phaser, and we've got some overdrive, and then EQ, and then we're turning it up a little bit with a utility, and then that's pretty much that rack, and then everything else is just that. And then I'm just automating all four of these. So I'm automating the pitch bend, the vibrato of the sound, which is the fine tune in Serum being wobbled about, and then I'm automating the reverb and the chorus rate. With this auto filter, I'm only really letting little snippets of the sound come through, to give the reverb, to let the reverb like take the sound other places. Because if I let more of that sound come through, like so, it still sounds good, but the reverb doesn't like take it much places because it's too loud for the reverb to be heard. So if you let the reverb be heard, the reverb's really setting the tone in this situation, and that's how I made that like the whole bit really. And then it does this little build up here. section for too long. I don't want to bore you people. But basically, that build up is just everything once again being played like normal. And then we're just adding tension by having no drums. It's just everything, but with no drums adds tension. And maybe add a tiny little riser in there, another one here. Where was I? There we go. And then add this little snare thing. Just adds a tiny bit of tension. And like, that's enough to get you to this tiny drop here. What another thing I'm doing is on the master, which is now called the main in Ableton. I'm not a big fan of that change. I'm sorry, Ableton. But the what I'm doing here is, I've explained this in so many other videos. We're just turning down the track on the master. We're turning it down to, we are turning it down to precisely -1, and then that's on the master, and then we're turning the width down to -27 with a utility. So when the like drop of any song hits, it'll be nice and wide, but it's not a do not. There's no rules in music, but I wouldn't suggest turning your width all the way up on the master, because that's gonna destroy your track. It'll distort it and make it sound like it's just coming out above your ears. If you, let's say I like turned this all the way up, it wouldn't sound any good. So like, just if you're doing something like that, don't go past 100%. Only turn it down in parts that like it would make sense in, so like a build up. And then once you've got that, you're ready to do a drop, I guess. So how I made this was, we have this noise. I'll get to that in a second. This thing, which isn't playing. Is that my fault? Did I forget to turn it on before I... Oh, did I forget to turn this on before I release the track? That'd be funny. I think it's meant to be the audience choir again. I think I might have had it off, honestly. I'll have to go have a listen to the original, but this track here, just ignore it for just now. No, I think it was on. I think I just had it turned down over here. Anyway, we've got this, which is just the collision and the delay before, but now we've got an extra ARP in the mix, which is just going ham on the rate. And that's how you get that little noise. And then we've got this, which is just the Virtual Riot synth again, but this time on the MIDI, we're not going like this. Hold up. We're not going like this. We've got every second note up an octave, which is kind of funky. It's just the little things, honestly. Oh, that's a heavy kick. we've now got a heavier kick in there, even heavier. This little and this snare, and you might notice it sounds really kind of moist. It's because we've got an extra snare in there. So apart from that one, which is just the same thing as before, it's the same clap but with a shorter release. I think it's the same clap as here. So we've got that, and then we've also got this snare, and then we've now got this, which is analog flow being pitched up. Analog flow is in SOR, and it's the first one. So that's how you get that noise. Hi-hats are exactly the same. Oh no, for this hi-hat we're using Atmosphere 52, all pitched all the way up. Pretty cool. Right, the sub. If you're using a phone or a phone speaker, you will not be able to hear this. Or even a laptop speaker, you won't be able to hear this. I recommend plugging headphones in, or if you've got a subwoofer, good on you. That's great. I would love a subwoofer. So this is the main sub, very bassy. We're doing a little bit of volume automation to make it sound like an 808 a little bit. And then this is just a NASCO preset. This is just the Ultra Sub NASCO preset with an EQ. I love the preset. I can't stop using it. And then this is the same thing down here. But this is these, I've honed in on these frequencies, and then we're expanding it, giving you this like really wide top end of a sub. Very quiet though. And then together, so I'll play the sub on its own. And then if we have both of them together, so sub on its own, both of them together. You're basically stereo widening the sub, which sounds stupid. Like, never widen your sub. But, as I said, rules are meant to be broken. And we don't always have to have a stereo wide, a mono sub. But if I go get Ozone 11 EQ. If I go get the Ozone 11 EQ, turn it on to mid and side, you'll see on my side channel here that hopefully I don't screw this up. On my side channel, did I set this up properly? Hold up. There we go. Everything that's coming out my side here is just the top end, and then everything that's coming out my mid is the sub. So because of that though, you can see that there's no sub in the sides. Even though they're getting distorted together, there's no sub in the sides. Which means the sub is perfectly mono, even though it sounds stereo. I've been rambling on for this for too long, I'm sorry. The drums are back, just with no lows in them. And then we got this laser noise. This is from another project of mine, which I've been working on, that I made And then that's pretty much it for that whole section. Oh wait, no, we got this noise. And this noise. Okay, so this noise first. I will leave the best noise for last. So this noise is just a triangle wave. I don't know if that's the proper name for it, but it's just a triangle wave that's being distorted, and we're picking out like very yoinky frequencies with an EQ, then a distortion, then a delay. Anyway, what the bit you've all been waiting for, this noise. So yes, it's another one of these. It's another one of them where I've just got a thing. I'm auto filtering it, and then we've got EQ, reverb, and then that's it actually. And then we've got an EQ on this chain here. But if I turn everything off here, it's quite harsh. It's quite a harsh noise. So what this thing in here is we've got this noise and this noise on top of each other. So this one's being put to the left a little bit, and it's kind of mono, and then this one's kind of stereo wide. And then how these are working is, oh god, this is going to be complicated to break down. So, if you're a fan of the Skrillex song Supersonic, you will probably have already guessed how this is working. We've got a sub note, and we've got a high note in the same chord, in a chord, like the second note. It's the, what's it? Supertonic, but it's the supertonic note, but all the way up in a different octave. So just the second note in the chord or scale or whatever. And then if you get those two notes and then distort them a lot and then compress them and then EQ and delay, you get some wacky sounds. And this is the same thing here on this one. So I'll just explain this one really. And I'll just double check this one at the end. So I've just explained this one. It's really simple. It's literally just the two note chord thing being distorted together, EQ'd, compressed and all that. Then we've got more compression with an OTT, more reverb, a saturator, EQ, pretty weird EQ, and yeah, that's literally it. And then we've got the second one, which is more wide, which is the literally exact same thing, but the OTT is now here instead of being where the reverb is. And then on the end of it, before the last EQ, there's this making it stereo wide, and then all together, and then it's literally just a lot of automation, which makes this like work. So this is the filter inside of Serum, opening and closing, and basically this is the reverb. This is the what note I want the higher note to be, because we have the two notes, the bass note and the high note, and we're distorting those together. So this is what note I want the high note to be. This is what octave I want that high note to be on. So if I change this to an octave down, which is about, I have no clue. There you go. It's an octave down now. But if I put it all the way up, you get that like D&B roller bass kind of noise. And then I'm automating the semitone that that high note is on. I am automating that over here. So all in all, a lot of automation, and just lots of reverb. That is kind of pretty much that whole section. So I'll just play you that section out again. So this here is, I was just going to explain this, I forgot to. This here is just this thing here, but like an octave higher. And it's got a shorter thing. So yeah, I was just going to explain that. And then pretty much the song just ends on this. And then it just plays the original song out with some extra glorified reverb over it. And then let's cut straight to how I mastered this actually. So all the channels except from the drums. So the samples, so every track is going to their respected group, and then every group here, except from the drums, every group here is going to this sidechain, and then sidechain, which is cutting out when the drums play. That is going to this pre-master, and then the pre-master is turning everything down, and then that's going to this on the master, which I'll just close these. So the pre-master is turning everything down, then it's going to the master. I'm turning everything down because that saves me from having to turning everything down in the pre-master. I feel it kind of saves me from having to render everything out at -16. I can just do it all in the project this way. The drums track goes straight to the pre-master. It does not go to sidechain, because you don't want to sidechain your drums, because then you won't hear your drums. And then so your drums go straight to the pre-master, and the pre-master goes to the master, as I said. Yeah, so everything's just being turned down to stop like crackling in the limiting in that we're doing. So we've got a multi-band dynamics. This is kind of based off of Virtual Riot, is how Virtual Riot masters his stuff. So please do ignore the fact that it's really similar to one of Virtual Riot's masters on one of his videos. So we've got multi-band dynamics at a 13% on the dry wet. We've got equalizer side EQ, getting rid of the this side sub. and so on. I think what I did for this master specifically, except from this page, I'll get to this. What the okay, I'll get to this in a second. So all these three here, I copied Virtual Riot's video on when he was mastering. I think it was the video when he makes a whole song from scratch. So I recommend going to watch that. But we've got this equalizer, this imager, and this dynamics, and then this is the maximizer. So this maximizer I'll talk about. We've got it on IRC 4. I swear that's 4 in Roman numerals. I can't remember. I'm a bad producer. We've got the threshold all the way down at minus 9.5 because if you remember what I said before, we're turning the track all the way down, so we've got to turn it all the way back up. And then we're not doing any true peak limiting here. The character is all the way to fast. It's a little bit soft clip on the mids, and then transient and sustain all the way down. And then after that, we've got PANCZ, Panks. This is just emphasizing the lows to bring them back in a little bit, turning it up even more. And then I think that's really it. And then we've got this at minus 0.32 dB. And then we've got limiter number 6. So we're limiting even more. All of this is offset from protection over here. Protection is on ISP precise. It's being turned up to 7.8, which is very loud. And it's being ceilinged at minus 0.3. And then that's it, actually. So you'd think, holy crap, that would be such a loud track. Yes, if you were mastering and you didn't turn your track all the way down before on your pre-master. If I have the track all the way up and play this bit, I am going to turn this down somewhere so I can protect my own ears. I don't know how loud this will be. I know I'm limiting it, but still, it can still be stupidly loud. So, actually, what we'll do is we'll put it after. So now it's stupidly loud, but you can hear that it's clipping. It's clipping the limiters. And personally, I don't like that clipping noise, and how it's distorting against the bass. So if I turn that back down to, oops, what was this at, like 17.2? If we have this at a lower number, we won't be clipping. We're clipping the limiter, that is. It's not actually clipping in the DAW, but it's like making the limiter flutter. See, it's still like pretty loud for a very quite dynamic track. It's still like peaking at minus 0.2 dB, so that's pretty good. Like all these websites and people recommend you to go minus 14. It's like, I don't care. I don't care anymore. I'm gonna make it as much loss as I can. I don't care. Like I've got a track that's coming out in May, and I have completely slammed the whole track against this compressor. Um, and it's like -2 lofts, and like everyone keeps on telling me it's like, yeah, oh, Spotify's gonna turn it down to -14. Well, that doesn't matter. There's no dynamics in it anyway. So it's like, what's gonna change if I slam the track against the compressor? This song does have dynamics in it, like at the start. This is a lot quieter compared to over here. And this bit over here. Wait, no, this bit. This bit's a lot quieter compared to over here. Over here. But this song is a remix, so it's not going out onto any streaming platforms. And B, I still don't really think it really matters, because me and another producer found out, shout out Machine of Yesterday, that if you go and into your Spotify settings and turn off normalize gain of song or something like that, it just gives you the original wave file. It just plays you the original wave file, not turned down to -14 lufs. So I definitely recommend doing that, because then you get to hear the original artists, like what they wanted you to hear, and how they wanted you to hear it. But it's only a recommendation. So, but thanks for watching the video. That's pretty much it. It's an hour-long video that I'm not gonna edit. I'm sorry. If you've got any suggestions for me in the future, or anything that I could change or add to things, or I don't know, make videos about, please join my Discord actually, and DM me. I don't mind. I like, no one is on my Discord, so I hardly ever get DMs. So if anyone is interested in anything and has made it this far in the video, thank you very much. And yeah, just hit me up if you want any videos made about anything or anything. Thank you for watching. Bye.